Hey, everybody, this is Todd Morton, and we're listening to Live and in Color with my main man, Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D and my man Jimmy across the street, man. How was your Halloween?
Oh, it was good, man. It was good. Just low key.
Sucked.
Really?
It started raining like right as the it was getting dark, and it was time to go, man. And then it started raining, and it was terrible. We probably had maybe 10 trick-or-treaters.
Man,
it was terrible. You know how I go all out. So, I had the fog machine set up, everything, and then I had to go out there and take it all in because it started raining. And then it stopped, and then it just sprinkled all night. It was horrible.
Man, that sucks. That ruins everything, man.
Can we get a do-over?
Yeah. When is the rain stopping? Mulligan. Exactly. No, bro, I don't want to do over mine. It was like 300 strong at 5 o'clock. It felt like,
really?
No, I mean, my neighborhood is just one of the neighborhoods in the town that fills up quick. Like you can't, you can't go out. I mean, at like 5:30, you might as well say you're staying home. There's no going out. I mean, other than if you were trick or treating, but, we were out of candy very early and we bought more this year, but whatever. It
wasn't great for here in Somerset. So
and tell me, well, you probably didn't see it, but I feel like I feel like more of COVID time. I felt like the homemade costumes were making a play for themselves. It felt, like people were getting really creative, and now I feel like I've noticed that more of the, what's the word I'm thinking of? Store-bought costumes are making a comeback, it appears. So I don't know. People have less time, working more jobs. Early vote.
Early vote. I got out and did that yesterday. Yeah,
us too.
Yeah, got out and did that yesterday, and so we'll see what happens here this week.
Yeah,
man. So that's all taken care of. Halloween is in the books.
Yes, in the books.
And today we got Todd Morton coming on, man. Known Todd for a long time. Saw him at the Hall of Fame. That brought about this interview. Asked him if he wanted to do it, and he's like, "Man, you must be running out of guests."
Come on, man. No, dude, Todd's great, dude. I mean, I have such fond memories of him as a kid, man. Like I remember seeing him. I'll probably tell it to him, but I thought of like them as two Rickies. I was like, holy crap, this is like in your case getting two Macho Mans, or Macho Men or whatever,
Man.
but no, Todd's cool, man. I first time I ever met him was at the Hall of Fame, and Ben, he and we all stood and talked outside of his hotel room for a long time, man. And dude, it was good. Just listening to them two talk, it was funny, So
cool. Yeah. And man, last week's show, man, I know the numbers on that are doing really good. We had Nightmare Danny Davis on. That was great, man. That was like me and you've been saying, we can stop now.
I know. Was the Todd interview even going to happen? No, seriously, I've been pinching myself. I had so many messages, people telling us how much they love the episode. And, I don't think of it as a completion of the podcast, but I do feel like we've helped complete your story just a little bit more, and dude, he just don't do these interviews. I was looking, I purposely looked, you were like, has he done a lot of shoot interviews? And I looked it up and he hasn't. It's been like 5 years since he did an interview with a radio station or something. And other than that, it's been a really long time.
Yeah. So. We lucked out on that. And I really appreciate Danny doing that for me, man.
Amen. We do.
It just, it makes me feel good that he would do that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because like you said, he don't do them, and it had to, I don't know why he did it for me, but he did, and I appreciate it.
He likes you, man.
Apparently.
But, yeah. But I just, like I said, we're just blessed to have had him, and I'm very honored to have been a part of it. And I can't say it enough. If y'all haven't heard that episode, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go listen to it right now, and then come back to this one. But I think everyone has, and we appreciate it. But tell a friend about it. It's a great interview. We're very proud of it. So,
very much so. But yeah, man, let's take a break and let's come back and talk to Todd.
All right, we'll be right back with Todd Morton after these messages.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Hey folks, to get your official Live It in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you for staying with us during that commercial break. Although we do have some pretty cool damn commercials that Jimmy across the street has worked out for us. The main man, the editor, the producer. I always appreciate you, Jim.
I know, but, man. Thank you.
You know, the commercials are good, man. When on the times that I do listen to our show. But, man, like I said before break, man, this dude goes back a long way with me. Back to when JC Ice and Wolfie D first breaking into USWA. And I can't remember, honestly. I'll have to ask him, see if he knows. I can't remember if we met before that or not. It probably did, it seems like. But I know for sure had one of our first angles in Memphis was against him and Chris Michaels. Folks, have a listen and give an applause that I can't hear. Todd Morton.
Hey, brother. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? Did you hear that round of applause they gave you?
Yes, I was awesome.
I mean, it had to be just mind-blowing and humbling. Sometimes it's weird when you don't have an audience. You're so used to having an audience. You know what I mean? You say things that are a little bit different. So how far back do you recall meeting me?
Man, God, you're asking me, man. I've done more drugs and drank more than that. I'm not the one to be asking. I don't know what I did last week.
Yeah, I hear you.
It had to be.
But I think it was Memphis, though.
Wasn't it? It had to be because I trained with Bill and moved in with him and run around up and down the road with him and Jamie started training too with me. Bill. Yeah. So it had to be after that, right?
Yeah, it was definitely after that because that would have. And you guys was running around with Ronnie Travis too, right?
Yes. Yeah,
so that was a little bit before me. A little bit before me, but I think I was probably somewhere right there into the time of breaking in, and then probably about 3 or 4 years later, I think would have been about 93, 94 when you and Chris started being Far Too Wild, wouldn't you say?
I think that sounds about right. I mean, because I think we did that a little bit before 93 maybe or so, because right around that ballpark. Cause I remember me and him, Rip Rogers got us in at WCW doing enhancement work around 93, 94, 95, 96 or somewhere in a 2 or 3 year, 4 year old span. Sounds about right.
Yeah. And man, I mean, for our, as green as we all were, we had some good matches, I thought, and entertaining stuff, man. Brother, I swear to God, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I remember in Nashville one time, you suplexed me on the floor, and that was before we had pads and shit out there, man. I was like, motherfucker, this dude. That fucking killed me, man. I didn't ever want to take a suplex on the floor after that. And you're not even that tall, so it's not like I was way up in the air or some shit. I was like, fuck, man. And people don't understand not having them mats out there. I see dudes bumping on the floor all the time, but no. When we bumped on the floor back then, that was some shit.
Well, I think another thing is I mean, it sounds like I'm stiff, which I'm not. Motherfucker. Now you make me.
Have you ever worked yourself?
I'm a fucking crowbar or something. God damn. I mean, I do work pretty aggressive and solid because I'm small, and I feel like with me being smaller than everybody, I need to fucking, kind of be a little snug with this shit, make people go, "Ooh, that little motherfucker's pretty tough."
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
They're going to go, this little dude, what's he doing? He shouldn't be doing that, or he can't do that, or why is that big guy letting him do that? Well, now I want to go, damn, he can do that shit, that little guy, man.
Absolutely.
You're small. You have to, like Benoit done it. Bill done it. And I learned from Bill. So, you talking about being stiff. You don't know how many black eyes, busted noses, and bumps and bruises I got in training. I thought he was going to fucking kill me.
Tell me some more about that. Like, what is a training session with Bill like? Or back then,
Well, of course, we had the little place in Gallatin right across the street from the gym. Him and, I can't think of that guy's name. They owned it. But it was awesome. Honestly, he was real thorough. He was real slow and patient about things. Like, first we started out just learn how to roll, just do a roll across the ring, like on a mat, and smack your hand, then just how to bump. Did that shit for like, 2 or 3 weeks. But we only trained on Sundays, the only day you could do it, because they was on the road Monday through Saturday. And then next, we just learned how to run ropes. And then we learned how to lock. I mean, it was methodical.
I mean,
you're going to learn how to lock up. You're not going to do nothing else for 2 weeks till you learn how to fucking lock up right. First, he taught you how to bump. Because if you can't bump, don't learn how to bump, you ain't going to make it because you're going to kill yourself in this business. You had, and he's right. You had to get that down pat. You had to get the ropes run down pat. I remember Pat Tanaka come work out with us, and Jamie can tell you this because he was with us. And Pat had a sweet backdrop, Wolfie. Sweet backdrop.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he taught us backdrops and how to run the ropes even more. And that motherfucker made us run the ropes. We had black and blue bruises on our hips and on our arms and on our sides. I mean, we hated him, man. Hated him. And then we would do run the ropes for 20, 30 minutes, just keep going. And he would clap his hands. Every time he clapped his hands, you had to bump, jump back up, keep going. Clap it. Then we all right, let's line up, let's do suplex. Okay, boom, another. You do I'd suplex Jamie 12 times in a row. Then put him up back 12. I'm like, God dang, are you shit? But that's the way they done it. They just made you do the same shit so much and so often, you could do it blindfolded or in your sleep.
Right.
I mean, when you're doing it, you're thinking, why are you making me do this 100 fucking times? I got it. It was just drilled into you, and it became natural after so long. You talking
about Pat's backdrop. I also always liked his if he took a shoulder tackle, his back bump. It was one of the fastest ones I've ever seen. He just hits the mat so quick.
It was lightning, man. I mean, I tried to do it like him when he was teaching us that too, and I was like, how? He would stand there in the ring. He said, just poke me in the chest with your finger. And I'd poke him in the chest, just barely poke him. Bam! Hit that man.
That's good, man. That's definitely good.
And that's one thing that's real is me and Jamie went and rode on the road with, because we lived, the house that they had out there down the road from Jarrett, where all the country singers were.
Yeah, I know they lived up there. I didn't know of it, but I knew they lived out there.
Yeah, we stayed upstairs, and we went everywhere on the road with him. And so all the boys at the time, we were in the dressing room with them, and they'd get to talk to us. Then Pat would go, "Oh, well, I'll come work out with you boys one day." Then Brian Knobs, "I'll come work out with you boys one day." Shawn Michaels, Manny Fernandez. We got to train and work out with all those guys because we were on the road with Bill, living with him, and in his training camp, they would take their time, Billy, Travis, come by on Sundays and work out with us for 2 or 3 hours, and we'd get their perspective. So the only way you weren't going to learn is if you were super, super fucking stupid or just didn't have a lick of athletic ability whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, you had those type of resources and Bill Dundee.
Yeah.
Come on, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's good, man. I didn't really know that. And I've said this on here 100 times, I think now. But like, I've known you for so long, and there's other guys that I've known for so long, and like the backstories I really don't know because we see each other at the show, we go out there and wrestle, and we might bullshit around, but it's not a sit down talk like this, and that's why I kind of, I like doing this, man. It's fun to get to know everybody a little bit better. So, Jimmy, I'm just gonna tag into you real quick and let you throw a few things at him.
Okay, sounds good. So, Todd, I first remember seeing you in '88, I believe, in Ron Fuller's USA Wrestling, and I would see you with Ricky Morton, and I would be like, "Dude, awesome! There's 2 Ricky Mortons! Holy crap!" And I said, "Can you tell me about your time there?" And also, one of the things that I'm sure you've been asked about this a million times, but the angle with Hector, where Hector threw salsa or hot sauce in your eyes. How did you like that angle? But I guess first, just talk about your time in USA Wrestling.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I worked there and Continental down in that Knoxville, Alabama, Florida area, and I worked around people like Bob Armstrong was the booker of Bill Dundee at the time. And Ron Fuller owned it with Bob Polk, and then there was Tracy Smothers and the Armstrongs and Johnny and Davey Rich. That down area, those Southern boys like that lived from down that area and was from there, they were so cool, so chill, so much fun to be around. It was probably my favorite territories ever is Continental and USA mainly because I was around both the Smothers and the Armstrongs and those type of people. They were just great people, fun people. It was just chilled, laid back territory, and everybody was there to make money for everybody, not just themselves. For everybody.
Yeah.
Good environment, good atmosphere, good people.
And did you like working Hector too?
Oh my God. First job I ever got, USA. Was actually second. I went out to NWA City for Eddie Gilbert. That lasted about a month. Bulldog Bob Brown and Bob Gaggles. They didn't like to pay people, so I had to money.
Joel Deans told us about that.
Those sacks of shit. But I ended up back home with Dundee, and he's got that booking job there. He said, "Come here, you do some jobs for TV and enhancement work." And I said, "Okay." And I went out there and I done a match with Buddy Landale. And I done this match, and Buddy went in the back, went straight to Armstrong and Polk and Fuller and he says, "Y'all got to do something with this kid." He said, "I don't know what, but figure out what you can do with him." I was like, holy shit. Buddy Landale just went to bat for an 18, 19-year-old kid he's never met, just had a 8-minute match with. And then Bob Polk and I think it was more coming up the idea of this teenage sensation thing. He says, "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to call him the Teenage Sensation, and we're going to say that he had to get an attorney, and we had to sign all these waivers so we can sign a contract with him because he's only 17. His mother's passed. He's got baby brothers and sisters at home. His dad's ill. He's got to help take care of the family." Those fucking people ate it up. They believed every bit of it. I mean, it was and for the next thing we know, I'm doing the angle with Hector, first person. My first ever real job, first ever real angle, and I'm doing with Hector Guerrero. I mean, oh my God. I learned so much from that man. so in such a short period of time, and he was so super nice, so patient, and everything. Because I'm a young green kid, you know. Some of those guys will very soon, you know, beat your asses, work with you. You know what trying to deal with. They don't want to. No, he was awesome to work with and deal with. We still talk to this day. You know, it was his birthday maybe a few weeks ago, if I'm not remembering correctly. I messaged him then and talked to him a little bit. But it was awesome. And in this push they were giving him, I mean, at the time I didn't have a fucking clue, you know, what was really going on. I was just like, hey, I'm on TV. I'm making some money. I'm getting all these girls. I'm
having a good time.
Yeah. Clue what was really going on or what I was doing, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But that was a great.
I know that feeling 100%, man. Some of that just blew past me. You know, there were certain years right there where it was like, fuck, I'm actually doing this, you know?
Right.
Just
it's
having
like
a great time.
Later, maybe, all of a sudden the light bulb went off. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I realize what I'm doing now. And I thought I was the smartest guy in the dressing room a couple years ago. Stupid kid that thought he knew everything.
Yeah.
Man, how it works. But I love that territory. I actually still talk to Ron on occasions here and there, once in a blue moon.
Very cool. Yeah.
It was just, and they were going to push the fuck out of me. This is, a lot of people didn't know this. Bill may remember. I don't know if he remembers it now, but anyway. But this, I got pretty hot and over at that kid thing, and all these young teenagers and kids started coming and da-da-da. It really worked what they were doing with me. Granted, it wasn't me, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. It was Ron Fuller and Bob Polk and Hector Guerrero and Dundee and Bullet Armstrong. They were doing everything. All I had to do was just do what they told me to do.
Right.
You know? And it started getting over. And then the last TV match of taping and match, I think, might have been me with USA. It's where I was working. Golly, who was I working? Man, I can't remember now. Gosh, damn it. Anyway, Ron Wright had his whole stable out there, and I got colored, even though I do color. They put my head over the second rope where they was, and the Moondog walked up and sliced me, and I bled like I bled like a sumbitch. They even blacked it out on TV, wouldn't show it on TV. And they just kept pounding on me. Boom, boom. Dolly Ron Fuller, which is, he's like Jerry Lawler in that part of Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Now he said, I've seen enough of this. Gordon Soley jumps up, runs in the ring, saves my ass. And then me and him were going to, like, work together and tag him, and he was going to, like, manage me, and he was going to push me and make me their world champion and beat the Stomper. That's who I was working in the ring that day. That's where he was going to go with it. That's why he jumped in the ring there. And then they turned around and sold the damn thing and bought a damn hockey team.
Yeah.
And I was getting the push of my life, put the belt put on me. Didn't have a clue. Like I said, it wasn't me. I didn't know what I was doing. It was all them. I was just a puppet on a string, you know? So,
yeah.
But man, again, another thing that I've said 1,000 fucking times is, man, this business is all about timing, man. Right place, right time. And you was in the right place at the right time, but then all of a sudden the wrong time because they sold the shit on you.
Right. And at the time, at them billing me at a 17-year-old, I would have been the youngest world champion, younger than what Tommy Rich was.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and now when I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, do you realize what you was getting ready to fucking do?
Yeah.
You know, then I didn't care. I was like, where's the next bag of weed and the next girl?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I was worried about. Where's I go get that bag of weed for pussy? Dude, I mean, I'm like 8-year-old kids, man.
Right.
Let's do the same way. It's back then, because it was almost taboo, and everybody called you a mark. Like if you cared, like wins and losses or a belt and shit like that, or if you even, I don't know, it seemed like even if you really wanted to talk wrestling or something, it was like, oh, you're a fucking mark, you know? We'll talk about wrestling when we get out there, you know? And then you look back on it now and you're like, man, I did some cool shit, man, and I feel very honored to have been able to do that.
That's like, even after that, I went to Continental when Bill booked in, And I got to start tagging with Ricky more. I think I tagged with him a little bit in USWA a couple of times. And then he cuts an interview like, me and Robert's Rocket Express, but Todd's part of it now. Da, da, da. And I look back and I think that's probably one of the biggest, greatest, most overachieved tag teams ever in wrestling. Some people consider the best tag team ever in wrestling. Not Rick, but Robert and Ricky, of course.
Yeah, right.
And to think that I was a part of that to some extent, a little bit, with Ricky at one time. I look back and I think now, and I'm like, God damn, that's pretty fucking cool, for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you were kind of the first. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really dawn on me. Then, me and Ricky's tagging cool, Where's the weed girl?
But I mean, you can ask Wolfie. Ricky he hung the moon in wrestling for me. That's my favorite dude. So when I saw that there was 2 Rickies, I'm like, oh my God, this is forget the Road Warriors, forget all them. I've got 2 Ricky Mortons. Are you kidding me? This is my favorite tag team. But seriously though, man, I remember that scene with you and Hector, and I was thinking, oh my God, I don't want to go back to that totally because you've been talking about a different thing here. But did they work that a little, or did you was it real salsa and y'all worked it, or it
was salsa, but of course it really did. One thing I will say that I did know how to do, and kind of, I don't know how, but I picked up on very quick was to sell.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who pounded that into me or where I got it from, but But mainly what I did is I studied tapes of Ricky. I mean, I purchased every match that guy's ever had, and I emulated myself after him as much as I possibly could or pull off.
Yeah.
And his thing was sell. Have fire, never die. Have fire, never die. Have fire, never die. Get fucked and beat. And you got over like Rover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All you do is get a little win in there every now and then.
Yeah.
It's what a babyface does.
Right.
I didn't really know at the time, but I was like, I will do the stuff he does in the way he does it. But years later, I figured out why I was doing it, why I needed to be doing it, and what a babyface actually. And Hector pounded a lot of it. You sell, kid. You sell. You don't die. You blah blah blah. You don't have to win all the time. You can sell and still fight and have a big fiery comeback. Then boom, I fuck you. People still love you. People still love you, kid. They'll still love you. I promise you. Just listen to me. And he's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
Now it's babyface. I get my shit in. I got to win the match, Ricky Morton became one of the most over baby faces, probably by losing and getting fucked as much as he ever won.
Amen.
And he never died, and he always had good, fiery comebacks.
Exactly.
And he could cut a. I mean, I don't know if people know how to be a baby face. Well, and then again, the baby face ain't the same type of baby face it was then anymore anyway. So who knows what I know,
It's all baby heel now. It's just a baby heel. It's all it is. Yeah. They blend it together, and it's all 50-50 booking. And I mean, dude, I'm talking out of my depth. Y'all talk.
Well, no, kind of the way I look at that, it's just all a bunch of, you don't have heel characters per se, you don't have babyface guys per se. You have a bunch of characters, almost like a video game. Select your character, and depending on what the story is which side they're on for a moment, because it's there's hardly no big heel or babyface turns anymore to where everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe so and so turned on. No,
I know, and that's what
all the time now.
Yeah, and we lived on that back in the day, bro. Like, oh my God, the Road Warriors turned on Dusty. Oh my God, like
Well, see, Bill.
Yeah, it's just
also, he would pound that in our head. He'd be like, "You babyface." When you watch the movies and the star, the hero of the movie or whatever, in the beginning he looks good and cool, but then this heel comes along and beats him up, or slaps his wife, or kills one of his relatives or his buddy or some shit. Then the rest of the movie, he's checking this bastard to get him, and he's selling the whole time. And then you don't get his revenge to the end of the movie, and you go home happy. He says, it's pretty simple. That's how it works, kid. I'm like, it makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
he said he don't get smacked around or in a fight with the bad guy at the beginning and whoop his ass and take him out then. He said the movie would be over.
Right.
It'd be the end, first 10 minutes. It don't work that way.
Yeah.
Okay. He pounded that in our head like that and that selling too and all that. You know, I mean, he would come up with some scenarios like that to throw at you, you know, compare it to movies or compare working with others. Like dancing, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. You flow and move together. You know, don't be fighting and resisting each other. We're working, we're dancing out here, you know. I still remember him those things this day. That's like 30-something years ago. Yeah, I see him right now, picture me in that ring, him talking to me right now, saying that shit. Crazy.
You know, and the thing is, the part about the movies, and I don't know if it was Bill that said this and kind of put this one in my head, though, but I always try to, like when I was training guys, I'd try to tell them, you got to let the people like register what you're doing. You can't go too fast with, you know, like it is now with move. And they're trying to emulate a fight scene in a fucking movie. And I don't think that it works the same. And I know that just fans are different. And I almost think that like the newer fans, the kids, you know, they love anime and that kind of stuff. And these guys like the Will Ospreys and all them that can do these crazy flips and fast and this choreographed dance. I mean, I guess that's fine if that's what you're into, but I just always thought that the wrestling fan and maybe the fan base has evolved along with it. But you start going too fast, then you realize what the fuck just happened. You know, so that's what I thought. Because you know how when you're watching an action flick and sometimes you're like, fuck, and the camera's cutting to do a different angle so many quick times during this fight scene, you're almost like, what the fuck did they just do? You know?
Yeah.
So,
right. He would pound that in our head too. Slow down. Less means more. Let the people see what you just did. He said, you just done 15 goddamn hurricanranas and 3 flips and 10 backdrops and you don't even know. It's like watching a tennis match. People knocking a ball back over. Your head going back and forth on a swivel. The fans, what the fuck you just did? You know? He's like, slow down. Yeah. Let them, you know, and take your time. You know, you can have a whole match out of just working a headlock for 10 minutes. If you do it right, he's right. And now I don't understand what's going on now. Sorry, but hey, they're making money, more money than I'm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but it's also two different things, man. I'll say, and Jimmy knows, I really don't watch Raw or anything like that, but I watch their pay-per-views, and they really kind of brought it back a little bit, man. They've, you know, kind of almost back to the Attitude Era of storytelling in the ring, which is so refreshing to see, man. And so it ain't all the flips and the flies. That's more AEW and the independent circuit. But in my opinion, WWE does good shit right now. So can't knock it all. And, you know, I didn't listen sometimes. I was trying to do shit that, you know, I shouldn't have been doing, but you learn. Yeah. But
I think where it all maybe kind of started and got a little bit back to the old school was the way they done the Cody storyline, maybe.
Yeah, I think
that was done exactly how it should be, and how wrestling has been done since the dawn of time. You know, and I was like, wow, they actually went back to the old school, and they milked this fucking almost 2 years or year or some shit like that. You know? Yeah. So and then now seem like they're maybe telling a pretty good storyline with the Bray Wyatt thing, his son or brother or whatever in that little group. Whatever they're 6 or something, you know.
Oh, the Wyatt 6. Yeah.
I watched bits and pieces here and there, and I went to SmackDown a while back. Well, my grandkids, they love wrestling, so luckily I get free box seats from my daughter-in-law who works for the center. So, and I took them, and I was like, this is different. I'm not real sure what I'm watching here. You know, this would be like Cody or the Wyatt thing come out, and I'm like, okay, we just went from this to this. there'd be like a couple matches. It was like all storyline and be milked out and you slow and methodical and, laying it all out. Then there'd be the speed champ. You got to beat a guy in 2 minutes. You got 2 minute time limit to have the match. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't think they do that speed champ thing no more, do they?
Well, if they do, I've never seen it. It's on that Twitter or X or whatever, but I don't know where they, I don't know when it happens. I don't know when it plays, but apparently
commercial, but I have no idea. Maybe that would appeal to somebody.
So,
I want to rewind here for a minute because I always like to talk about this too. So before you get in the wrestling business, what do you like as a young wrestling fan? Who was the people that influenced you and you wanted to be like and all that?
You probably know that answer. Who trained me and who did I just brag about being part of the tag team?
So Bill and Ricky?
Yes. I grew up right out of Louisville, so I grew up watching Memphis Channel 5, which up here bicycle tape up on Channel 3. And, Bill Dundee, man, I'm a little dude. He's a little guy.
Yeah.
I'm a little guy. Little guys can do anything, man. We don't got to be big.
Yeah.
What I mean? It wasn't that big either. And of course, I grew up in the 80s, and I had the mullet. I looked like Ricky. I got out of school, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I moved to North Carolina. They were in the NWA and on fire, 86, 87, first batch and all that. And everywhere I go there in Raleigh, North Carolina, people be like, some people go, is that Ricky Morton? Our dude looks like Ricky Morton. I'm like, at the time I forgot, I didn't mess with wrestling much because I was a senior in high school, junior. You were playing sports and running around chasing the little girls and all that. You just sit home and watch much TV. So I kind of had forgotten about who. Now that's my brother. I said, Ricky Morton. I said, I can't remember who he exactly is. He said, well, Saturday I'll show you. He turned the TV on and he was like, that's Ricky Morton. I seen him come out. People went nuts. And I watched. I'm like, I always loved wrestling when I was a kid. I said, I told Bryce, I'm going home. He said, going home? I said, yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to go get with old Charlie Howe, a dude who used to promote wrestling in Barstown. He was friends with Jeff's grandmother, Miss Christine, right? Is that right? Christine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. They were friends, and he knew her. And I said, I'm going to tell him what I want to do and see if he can't get me connected. By God, he took me to Louisville Gardens. And I went down there every Tuesday night for almost 6 months straight and bugged Bill. I followed him to Arthur Street exit. You know the exit, Wolfie?
Where you cash the check?
Huh?
Where the liquor store was where you cash your check?
That's in Evansville on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we got off at the Arthur Street exit, got the gas, and went next door to the liquor store too, and had the deli.
But I think that one ended up being where you cashed your check at. You maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I just went to that liquor store too much.
Yeah,
yeah,
probably right. We got paid that night, Wednesday, in Evansville.
I could have swore that we fucking got them there. I thought they changed it. I don't remember.
I don't know. But anyway, I bugged him to death. And then finally, after almost 6 months, every Tuesday night following him down there and bugging him, he said, I almost started school, kid, da-da-da-da. And boom, there it was. I went. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I'd be at the training school, and I wouldn't get out of the ring. He'd be like, get out of the ring, give these other guys a chance. And I'm like, I can't help it they don't want to get in there. That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had that look, and then and I told him, how I admired him and Ricky, blah, blah, blah. I want to be a baby face. He's like, yeah, you're young, cute little kid, blonde hair, yada, yada. And he introduced me, Ricky, and he said, Ricky, this kid's got this idea, blah, blah, blah. And Ricky said, well, Bill, if you train him and you're good with it and you know everything, yeah, sure. He can use my last name and we'll say he's my cousin, little brother, whatever. And I was like, wow. So there we go, Just crazy. You just never know.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Jim. Man, okay, so this is going to lead constantly into Ricky Morton stuff. I'm sorry, Todd. Not really, but I'm just curious. So whose idea was it to put you and Rick Valentino together as the Junior Rock and Roll Express. And now, did Rick get any heat for going as Rick Gibson, or was that more of a tribute? And then also, or did he just have to have Gibson as his last name and it was a total shot in the dark?
I think we were tagging with Dale Mann. I think maybe Dale Mann come up with that idea.
That sounds like a Dale Mann. Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, sure, why not? You know, and Robert and Rick had met each other, and Robert's met Ricky, and I'm far as I know, everything was kosher and cool with all that, you know.
Yeah.
And nobody really, because we always, it wasn't like we was trying. I mean, yeah, we stole their gimmick, but it wasn't like we were trying to, you know,
pretend you were them, right?
Them or literally steal their gimmick. You know, it was more of a tribute, man. We both admired and respected them, and they were like our heroes growing up, and what we want to be like. It was more of like you said, a tribute to them. It wasn't nothing ever disrespectful whatsoever about it. Never.
Yeah.
And nor would it be. I mean, that just
right. Of course.
No, not. I mean, I know guys do shit like that, but no, not my cup of tea.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Well, speaking of Dale Mann, obviously, you know, do you have any stories about the Wild West tours at all?
Sure. Yeah. Wolfie, what the fuck? Little Danny D.
Yeah.
Remember
Little Danny. Yeah.
Yeah. How can I forget?
Yeah, true story, right? We're on the way to New Mexico, right? And we stop at Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and there's this park there, like this river, like lake and river thing. And we're going to go, we're going to stop par, we're going to picnic, we're all going to jump in the water, swim a little bit, cool off, chill a little bit, jump back in the car, go on, because we're probably at the halfway marker, close to it, you know, getting to New Mexico or something. And so we stop and we do that, blah, blah, blah. Then we're all swimming, and of course, you swim across the river here, the little lake part, whatever it is, the river runs through it. And there's a cliff. All the guys and kids are going over there, and they're climbing up this cliff 20, 30 feet in the air and jumping off. We're over there, and then little Danny's like, I'm coming too, you know? And I'm like, oh, all right, brother, come on. And I'm at the bottom of the cliff waiting on him. I think maybe it's the top. I can't remember. I'm over there. I'm waiting on him. And I'm like, okay. He gets halfway, and he starts going under. Boop, boop, yelling. I said, fuck him. He ain't drowning. He's full of shit. Because he was always, you know, doing silly shit. And
yeah.
I be goddamn a little son of a bitch was drowned. I jumped in and swam out to the middle. And when I got to him, he had went under, and I had to go down and under and reach, and I grabbed his by the top of a hair of his head and pulled him up, up back, you know, up out of the water by the hair of his head, and grabbed his thumb and swam to the bank with him. And he was over there choking, gasping, and breathing for air, gasping for air. And I was like, wow, you were really drowned. I mean, we was laughing. We thought he was ribbing us. Nobody. He's fucking around. But now a little feller gave out. He couldn't make it all the way across. You know.
I mean, I bet, because when you said that before it got to the drowning part, I was like, oh my God, those little arms, those little legs ain't gonna get him across there. Like he's gonna look like a little dog trying to get across the water.
Help me. Here's the thing, yeah. And then we got
I'm drowning.
Yeah, I got you. You know. And then we got to New Mexico. We're in Santa Fe, I think it is where we stayed. And we're at this hotel. Of course, you know, I smoke, he smokes, so we smoked together a little bit and everything. And he goes, Todd, he said, that little girl down there at the, I wish I could impersonate how he talked and make it a much better story, but I can't pull it off. But he'd be like, this little girl's, she was like young teenage girl, probably at 19, 20, 18, something. I really like her. She's pretty. Of course, he fell in love with every little girl who talked to him for 5 minutes. But
yeah,
he's like, I really like her. And little Danny wasn't well educated. Couldn't read or write.
Nope.
So me and Rip Rogers sitting there in the room talking with him. He's like, well, I want to write her a letter, tell her how much I like her. You write. I said, you roll me a joint. Give me a joint out of your bag. I'll write a letter for you. Okay. And I'm like, he's telling me, I'm really glad I met you. You're really pretty. You're really sweet, and all this blah 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 mushy cheesy shit.
I'm so glad I met you. You're so sweet.
Yeah, there you go. I should tell you this. I should tell it to everybody. It'd be better. But of course, I'm riveting. I'm not writing none of that shit down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you got a nice ass. I'd like to suck on your titties. You know, will you have sex with me? I'd like to fuck your ass. All this shit. I'm like, I was fucked up shit down because he can't read it anyway, right? Right. This is going to be so fucking funny when she reads it. Then here we are, he runs out and get it to her because I give it to her. I said, cool, man, cool. I said, you'll get her, buddy. It's good. It's in the bag. And then about 15, 20 minutes later, hotel door. It's the fucking police, man.
Oh my God.
Like, what the fuck? And then there's Dale Mann with him. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh God.
And he's, Danny, fuck. The cop said, what you doing? You talked to that girl? He said, yeah, Dale. I was real nice, Dale, and all this. And he goes, well, that little girl got up. She called her manager and called the police and went home. What'd you say to her? He said, I didn't say nothing, Dale. I didn't say nothing. And I was like, oh my God, he's fucking serious right now.
Oh man.
And then he started freaking out, started crying and shit. I couldn't take it any longer. I was like, Dale, I did it. I read it. And I had to explain to Dale and the cops what I done. And Dale looked at me, you motherfucker, you. And those cops looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you know? Little Daddy's over in tears because Dale's about to kill him. He's going to Dale, you know?
Well, he really had the mentality of a young, maybe a young teenager, like, you know what I mean? Like way younger than he really was. But yeah, I can see that face looking at Dale, shaking his head with those big eyes. I've been good. Yeah, I've been good.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
And then I couldn't sit there. I couldn't let it go on. He was crying.
Oh, I guarantee it. I mean, that's hilarious. But there comes a point when the rib's too much.
Yeah.
What a trip. Also in that trip, man, we were coming back from a show one night, and we were at an intersection at Santa Fe, like four-way intersection, sitting at the red light. All of a sudden, we hear, boom, bam, and all this stuff. And there's a liquor store right there to our right. We look. There's these two dudes beating the shit out of this guy in the parking lot. I mean, beating the tar out of this cat. Then about all of a sudden, you see these two, this dude's on the ground, they're just tumbling him, kicking him, punching him. And then all of a sudden, you see these two guys go, start screaming and yelling, and they both fall. This dude done pulled out a box cutter and sliced these cats up. They was laying on the ground. They were swinging on him and killed one of them.
Wow.
And then a Monte Carlo Super Sport comes flying around from behind the liquor store, grabs him, throws him in the back seat, and hightails it down the road, leaves them two dudes in the fucking parking lot bleeding out.
Dang, man.
What in the world? Dale said, let's get out and help him. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, seriously.
Fight, you know?
Yeah.
And that trip was the wild trip. A week in New Mexico, and more shit went on that road trip than any of them I ever went out west with him. And I went on several.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I heard Jamie talk about some of them.
Yeah.
It took me more states than anybody, though, honestly. Little old Dale, man.
Really?
I bet I've seen 30 different states with him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Were you around when Cousin Junior had to shave his beard?
I'm not recalling that, no.
Apparently there was a story where Danny and Junior and maybe some other guys had a lady of the night, and they caught a crawling insect from her. And
that sounds about right.
the funny story about it is Roger and Ronnie Travis are apparently watching this happen for a while. And this is the funniest part that almost killed me when Roger told me this story. He said that they were kind of getting into it there, and Danny would just kind of be playing with their boobs a little bit, right? Well,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Junior goes, "Who the hell's playing with my nuts?"
This is the funny part.
Okay.
They are, all of them, 3 or 4 of them, and then I don't know what, Danny kept playing with her boobs.
Okay.
And she's on all 4.
Okay.
And every once in a while, I was just sitting there watching. I was standing there watching. I wasn't going to stay there long. And finally, Lanny hollered, "Hey, quit touching my balls."
Oh my gosh!
I guess he was playing. I guess he was playing with her boobs, and his hand kept slipping over. I don't know. Me and Ronnie was just dying. We were sitting there watching. We're standing there watching. We was just dying laughing.
Oh, my God.
Danny had mixed up the nuts and the boob.
You know,
Yeah.
these stories I'm telling y'all, the stories that y'all got, you can tell, that story you just told, it's just, you can't, most people, they'll go, "Well, tell me about this or that on the road," or what's the, and then you tell them, and they look at you like, "You're a liar. You're a liar."
Right.
I mean,
Right.
but this shit's true, man. I mean,
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
you can't make up some of this shit that we've seen or
Hell
is
no.
involved in or whatever. And people, they look at you like a deer caught in headlights, or like you're the biggest liar in the world. I mean, why did you ask if you're going to look at me like you don't believe me after I tell you?
Right.
So I bring this shit up most of the time to normal people. I don't know what you call it, marks or just the average person. I don't think they don't have no clue what some of the crazy shit we done. You know?
Yeah, absolutely not, man. And it's too. It was also a different day back then. You know, those a lot of those things can't even go on now. I mean, people would be in trouble, and it wouldn't happen, man. But yeah, we definitely. It's funny because I actually now I don't care if I'll say anything on here, but my therapist that I see, I've been with this therapist for over a year and a half, so I'm very comfortable with this person. We kind of got off subject, and I told a story that happened with me and Jamie. Not going to go into it. I've told her here before, but anyway, it's one of those ones that's just crazy, you know. And I mean, the therapist, she's been with me long enough where she knows what I'm saying is true, but even her, she was like, "Oh my God."
Right.
How did y'all not end up in jail? I said, "I don't fucking know, man."
Made that shit up or something, you know?
Yeah.
You can't make that stuff up. I mean,
no.
I could tell more too about stuff with Ricky and stuff with Jamie. Of course, you know, the one road trip where Chris was driving and all that.
Yeah, I've told that one on here before too, where we spun out. I mean, that was in slow motion to me, man. It was insane. I think Jimmy, I've told that one, haven't I?
Oh yeah. You know, well, one thing we learned from Kid Cash, and you're kind of like the original Kid Cash almost, Todd, because of your ties with your early career with Ricky and stuff. And, you know, Kid told us a funny story about his first trip with Ricky where he learned he had to pay the rent and, you know, with the people they were staying with. And Ricky's like, why are you sleeping on the couch for? Get in that room there and pay the rent, boy. And so do you have a similar instance like that?
Oh, God. I don't think I had to pay the rent ever, but I probably was paying it willingly any fucking way.
You were already in there.
I got this, Ricky. Hold my beer, you know. Yeah. So I mean, I've got some stories there with Ricky and girls because, oh my God, at one time they were so hot. I mean, it was like, I don't know. I mean, it's a different time and age, but there was a time when we were in, I want to say Knoxville, went right after, a little bit after their run, and they were like really kind of still hot because they just been out of the NWA maybe less than a year or whatever. And I can remember me and him having a room, and there were girls sitting out on the sidewalk in front of our door, all because of him now, not me by no means. And they would wait their turn.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm talking 6, 7, 8, 10 girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, one done, boom, out, the next one in. And then, you know, like, and then like even he'd have, you know, you're with Todd. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I'm not going to turn it down, of course. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it was wild. I mean, that's how big and over and hot they were at one time. I mean, the girls were nuts over it. I mean, you know, of course, I was reaping what he was sowing as well. Like you said, we'll be right place at the time.
That says a lot about how over they were, or Ricky was, and but it also says a lot about Ricky's stamina in the
dang straight.
Well, we had a little help with our stamina back then, of course.
Right,
you know?
right.
You know,
Tijuana marching powder, Bolivian marching powder.
I was speaking with some of the boys, of course. I mean, we liked our cocaine a little bit. So,
well, speaking of somebody that's a total opposite, let me bring this guy up because I love this guy to death. Wolfie loves him too, and I know you love him too, Todd. Obviously, I just met you for the first time at the Picture Perfect Event Center with the Memphis Hall of Fame. Wolfie D, PG-13 went in the Hall of Fame. Ricky and Robert did too. But I had with me Ben Jordan, and Ben was kind of my, you know, he was my, if I wasn't going to be able to hang out with Wolfie the whole time. So Ben got me in to meet a lot of you guys where I maybe wouldn't have bugged you if I hadn't have been with Ben. Well, you know, Ben and I got to talking, and he was like, oh yeah, Todd was great. You know, Todd was one of those right there with me, man. I would love to hear some stories about you and Ben and, you know, just the memories you have of him early on and stuff.
Man, that I do remember. He went through camp with me, or training school, whatever you want to call it. At Bill, he was one of Bill's first guys too. He was in that first little group with us.
Yeah.
He was a natural, man. I mean, he just took it like a duck to water, and just a super nice guy. And I don't ever remember much craziness because you know, Ben's a pretty level-headed, nice, just good dude. He wasn't wild like some of us was, you know. So I can't think of no wild or crazy stories to really tell with him. Nothing but good stuff, really. He was just fun to be around, fun to travel with. You knew you could count on him. He was always nice. He's a great dude, man.
He really is. I mean,
just a great guy. And if you didn't like Ben or you couldn't get along with Ben, then there was something fucking wrong with you.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. What's your problem? You know?
But he wasn't wild at a partier, though, that I can remember, honestly. I don't think I remember him, you know, carrying on like we. I don't even know if he done any drugs or anything, to tell you the truth.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he says he didn't, and I believe him. You know, he's one of those guys. He's not BSing you, but I guess I was more asking about, you know, working with him and stuff early on. Like, do you remember anything that was, you know, that stands out as far as matches with him or anything like that?
Oh man, trying to think.
Did you and Chris, you and Far Too Wild worked the Wild Boys, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, we did. But I don't know if we were far too wild of what we were, but yeah, we did.
Yeah.
You know, I really can't think of nothing that stands out super crazy or anything.
Just consistency.
Other than the fact that it was like super easy to work with, and I loved working with him. And it was, you know, when you knew you worked with Ben, so to speak, like everybody'd say, it's a night off. You know,
yeah, right.
You knew it was going to be easy. The match was going to be smooth. You knew you was going to work with a dude who was going to work with you, and it was just going to be all in all just fun and easy. You know, period. You know,
yeah.
So
yeah.
But I don't know if we ever really done much of any angles together, or any long storylines or nothing. But we definitely had several matches together. But then again, we trained together, so our time, our everything was kind of already there because we've been doing it and each other for months at Bill's facility, you know. So that made it much more easy. But you talking about a good dude, man. I can't say it enough times. And I just hope and pray that what he's going through, he gets through it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. Yeah. He's tough. You know, he's a fighter, and he keeps getting good news, man.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that, Wolf?
He's done nothing but improve.
Right, I know.
Ever since I found out, it's just gotten, the news, like you said, has gotten better. So that's awesome, man. But hey, Todd, man, I know we're coming close to the hour mark here, and I try to keep it at that, and I don't like keeping anybody too much longer. Man, do you have anything that you want to say in closing?
Shoot. I'm glad you had me on there. First of all, it's a pleasure to always hang out with you and talk with you. Like when we did the reunion thing recently, I haven't had anything to do with wrestling in years and don't really care to or nothing. And I don't even really get involved with anything to do with it. But I went to that. Yeah. And the only reason I went to that was because I wanted to see all the people that I started out with and got, built a long-lasting friendship with. And that was like you, Jay, Bill, Doug, Bruno and all of them were around. I wanted to just see everybody. I didn't care if I got an award. I didn't care about nothing. I just wanted to see my buddies, and if anything else in this crazy business, I've made some of the most awesome friends that I know everybody uses that brother term loosely, but I know with some of us, it's not being used loosely. I could call Wolfie 6 months from now, not talk to him another time from now to then, and he would pick up the phone. He would probably try to help me or be there for me if I needed him for something. And he knows that with me. And like me and Wolfie haven't talked much several years anyway, up until the last few months, everything going on. But it's right back like we were on the road wrestling last week.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You pick up where you left off. It seems like, and even if you don't know somebody, I've made some friends by doing this podcast that I had never met in my life, man. Right. And it's cool, man. Just that it's that wrestler brotherhood, man. Damn right. But hey, good to have you on here, man. It's awesome too. You got some good stories too. Some of those I hadn't heard. I love it.
Let me close with one thing here because we haven't talked enough about him. Say something. It would be easy to say something good about Chris Michaels, and I'm not looking for any crazy story of women and all that. I'm just saying, man, how good is Chris Michaels as a wrestler, bro? Like seriously, he's still doing this stuff, bro. Can you imagine that?
Well, I think that I'm going to make a little bit of a comparison here, but I think Wolfie's going to agree with me on it. I think that me, Wolfie, and a lot of guys in our age group and in our era and our time thought so much of this one guy here and respected this one dude so much. And people still do to this day and still talk about him. And he's gone. And I know Wolfie probably knows who I'm talking about. He was one of the best guys, best workers, hardest workers, one of the greatest boys you'd ever run into and want to be around, and so much loved and respect by everyone. Tracy Smothers.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I think I can put Chris right up there next to Tracy when it comes to all that stuff. People think that way about Chris. He may not quite be Tracy, but I can put him in that group.
Yeah. In my heart, he is, man. He's that great. Yeah.
He's still doing his thing. He's still a great guy to be around. He's still one of the best dudes you'll ever meet. He still don't mind learning and teaching and helping the youngsters. And he's still one of the hardest fucking workers you ever see in the ring. And he's kind of like Tracy Jr. to me, still out there doing it, still out there living it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And everybody loved Tracy. And Tracy was a wonderful, awesome guy, man. Actually, when I was bugging Bill down at the Gardens, Tracy was riding with him. He was one of the first wrestlers I met and actually gave me the time of day and talked with me and stuff. I'll never forget it. We ended up fucking living and running the roads together in Continental and different places. We had so much fun. So much fun. Yeah, Chris is right there, man. Chris is right there. Like if there was a Tracy Smothers Award to be given away, I'd give it to Chris.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It should be.
I think there is. Shane Morton and the Right Way Reunion gave him a Tracy Smothers Award. So yes, good call, y'all.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was just making a comparison off the top of my head. Because when I thought about Chris, I think about Tracy.
Right.
It's like,
that's awesome.
It's the same.
All you Mortons think alike, I think.
Oh wow, that's not good.
No, man.
Not good at all. Hey, Wolfie, thank you, man. Thank you. Like I said,
man. Thank you for coming on.
People down. You know, I'm not fucking with them. They're clowns. I mean, maybe if they want to pay me, I might do it. But you know what I'm saying. Here's you. I was like, they're like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, that's different, bro. Wolfie's my dog, man. He's my brother. I mean, I don't even know who the fuck y'all are. I'm not doing shit with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
I appreciate that, man. And I think a lot of people, I thank a lot of people that have come on here for that exact same reason, man.
Why wouldn't they?
It's that brotherhood thing.
Yeah, I mean, we might talk about Chris and Tracy, but man, you're right up there with all that too, man. You're one of the best dudes you could ever be around, in and out of the ring, and to doing everything, man. I mean, you were always easy to get along with, always fun. You were, easy to work with. I mean, you would always you didn't mind helping people out. I mean, you're a good dude, man, and one of the best boys I've ever known and met too. And I ain't saying it because I'm on this fucking podcast either. Everybody sitting there listening, go, "Oh, he's just kissing his ass and he's on his podcast." Well, no, I'm not, cocksuckers. It's the truth. Yeah. I'm gonna call the shit like I see it. Period.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah,
you as well, man. You as well, because when we met, you were quite a few years senior to me as far as being in the business, and I can say I learned some stuff from you. So we all tried to help each other. It was back to kind of what you said. I think you were talking about Continental at the time or something, but y'all were, everybody was getting along and all that kind of stuff. And that sure helps, man, when the whole crew ain't trying to stab each other in the back and everybody knows their role and all that shit. It works better, trying to help each other and stuff. So.
Right. I mean, you worked around the Armstrong some and Tracy.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I was like in the territory Bullets booking. Steve's working there. Scott's working there. Brad's working there. Tracy's working there. And I'm working there with her. Tracy bows to Winnebago, and Burrhead Jones is driving us everywhere. And all of us is in the Winnebago going to all the towns, smoking the Fernum and laughing and cutting up and tearing up. You're talking about a good group of guys to run up down the road with, man. Oh, God. It was like Southern hospitality. Them boys bled,
We've definitely come away with some great stories. Like you were saying, great friends, but we got great stories. Whether anybody fucking believes them or not, that's up to you. But we got some great stories, and we've had great times. We got great memories. And, that's just priceless to me, man. Very priceless.
It is. The whole thing out of the whole business is those relationships and those stories and the camaraderie. I would get back into wrestling today if a lot of those guys would too, just for the camaraderie of being around all y'all again and having some fun and running up and down the road. But as far as taking bumps, hell no.
I know that's right. All right, Todd, we're going to let you go, man. And I just want to thank everybody for listening. It's been a great episode. Like I said, great stories, Todd. A bunch of shit I haven't heard. And we're going to be right back with Ask Wolfie D Anything.
Thank you,
Thank you, Todd.
Seriously.
Hey, thanks,
means
guys.
a lot. Yeah, this was great.
That was really good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
DJ, hit the music. All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything on this awesome Todd Morton episode. And first off, man, Todd, dude, what great stories. More Dale Mann
stuff, man.
yeah.
That's real funny stuff.
Yeah, Jamie Brumley, I hope you've been listening, brother. You always ask for Dale Mann questions. That was the one right there, man. That was the one about Dale. Yeah, but Todd's cool, man. We thank him for doing it, and it was funny, man. Honestly, we talked for about 20 more minutes after the interview stopped of just stuff about your health, man. So he was asking him the good questions about you too, man. So anyway, we thank you, Todd. Very much appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And we also thank the listeners very much. We've got some awesome questions from y'all. So I'm going to start with this one right now. This one's from longtime listener, funny guy, texts with me often. It says, from Keenan Brown on Facebook, he says, I've got to ask Wolfie question, kind of Halloween. So we know Halloween is over, but we're going to do this one here. He says, do you get noticed now more for wrestling or being the badass Halloween decorations guy?
I mean, in my little town here, everybody knows, the Halloween guy. Yeah, kind of not when they see me, but they know the Halloween house, Right. And I'm not saying there's people that's got stuff, but the thing about my stuff is it's all custom pretty much. And I've seen people that have, because some of those animatronics that you get at Home Depot and Lowe's, they're fucking like $300, $400, $500, man. And I've seen people's yards filled up with that shit. And we're talking thousands of dollars worth of shit.
Yeah.
I ain't got that kind of money, and I just make my own stuff. So I think that's what gives mine a little bit of an edge, is that they know that I make my own shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but, a lot of people in this town know who I am as far as wrestling and stuff. But yeah, this is the Halloween house.
It's the Halloween house. Yeah. They're going to open up a Spirit Halloween next to your house, I've heard.
And we put a bunch of stuff out for Christmas too, but I don't make that,
Yeah. But hey, dude, your Halloween stuff, you might ought to look into that. You should start making decorations or something.
I want to do a whole bunch of new stuff next year, because a lot of my stuff has been out there for a few years now, and I'm starting to age and starting to come apart, some of it. So I don't know. We'll
gotcha. Yeah, understand. Yeah, well, you got to freshen it up.
Have a better economy by next Halloween.
Yeah, if y'all vote out there. So yeah, well, that was a good question, Keenan. Thank you for that one. I think we answered that pretty much. Frank Miller, aka Trailer Park Trash, asked a funny question here real quick. He says, have you ever thought of dressing up your one-eyed anaconda for Halloween? Never mind. That's a bad question. We'll go. So the real next question is this one. It says, this one is from Heza Machine on YouTube. And he asks this question. He says, I was wondering if Wolfie ever heard the story about Doug Gilbert kidnapping Burt Prentice's dog Buster. Chris Champion said it in his shoot interview that Burt Prentice owed Doug money. Doug Gilbert kidnapped Buster and kept him until Burt paid him what was owed him.
Yeah, I think that is untrue, because the story that I know of Burt's dog getting kidnapped for ransom was Rex King and not Doug. I don't think that's. I think it's Rex King. They've got the story mixed up.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I know that happened. But with Rex King did take Burt's dog.
Gotcha. Okay. So it was Rex King and not Doug Gilbert. Gotcha.
Right. That's as far as I know. Yes.
Now, I know there was something about a missing gate or maybe a hijacking of a gate because he didn't get paid. Do you think maybe that's where he's mixing up the names, possibly?
That was Doug and Tommy, and that was in Virginia. And the guys they took the money box and then got pulled over by the police and all this kind of mess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember the whole story, but that's the gist of it. Okay. So maybe I did get it confused. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. But Rex King took the dog. Okay, got you. Yeah, all right. Fluffer Nutter or whatever that dog was called. But anyway. Okay, so our last and final question of Ask Wolfie D Anything today. This one's from Charles on YouTube, and he says, Mr. Davis calling you Kelly brought up a random memory. One Saturday only, Corey and the Graphics advertised you in a singles in JC as well, but they used your real names. Do you remember that?
Dude, that was some kind of rib. I swear it was Jeff Jarrett and Frank Morrell. Frank would always fuck up my name.
Whoopee.
And I was on programs. They would intentionally do this to me. I know it was them. And it was, I'd be Woolly B one week. I'd be Whoopie D. Everything but Wolfie D.
Yeah.
For quite a few weeks there. And I'm sure that was during the same time period that just
just a rib one time. Wasn't a mistake by production. It was a rib by Jeff and Frank.
Right.
Man. Yeah. I'd never heard that. That's good. I'm glad I'm glad I heard that. I mean, I don't think I've heard that, I could have forgotten, but
yeah. I feel like I've talked about it, but yeah, they definitely were ribbing me just to mess with me.
That's funny. You probably did, but that sound, I mean, you've definitely talked about them ribbing your name before. So that makes sense, man. Did that get you hot? Just curious, or did you not care?
No, I don't remember really being mad about it. I just couldn't figure, I'm fucking 19 at the time, just sitting there, and it's like, I'm like, what's going on here? It took me a while to figure out what was going on.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and was it Kelly Wolf? Is that what they did?
I believe they did that one too. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they would do Warren Wolf as well, or was it Kelly Warren?
I don't know that they ever did that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And this is later though. Like Jeff's middle name is Leonard, and so I'd call him Jeffrey Leonard, and he'd call me Kelly Warren. That's funny. And you know what's he would do it backwards. He would do Warren Kelly.
Warren Kelly. Okay. That's
Jeffrey Leonard.
Jeffrey Leonard. Yeah. Warren Kelly. Yeah. What's funny is when Danny called you Kelly. Now, I've heard you in the past, you were like, if the guy calls me Kelly, generally that usually means they don't know me,
Right.
And it was funny, but like Danny was like, do I call you Wolfie? Do I call you Kelly? And it's like, well, at the time you probably were just whatever to him, right? You're like, call me whatever,
Yeah. Yeah. And it was funny that he said Kelly, but I don't know that he knows, most people don't. I mean, everybody calls me Wolfie, you know what I'm saying? And then if they, I said it on TV before that Kelly Warren Wolf, when we were doing the Tommy and Doug angle.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't know, man.
But I think that's the only time he's ever called me that, honestly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, man, that's cool. But yeah, it's just funny because I was trying to play it back in my head. I was like, I wondering if he's just like, okay, he would have called, Wolfie would have probably answered to, hey, idiot, come here, at that point, but anyway, yeah, well, yeah. So that's all I got for today, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Great show. Thank you, Todd Morton. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Thank you for the questions. And check us out next week.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com, and to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to uswapodcast.com.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon Podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon Podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices, and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at Warren Wolf 13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap
for your dome.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color, bum rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, unlike any other. Back in the day, I was N-O-D, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are, without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip-hopping. Been doing it like this since 92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Ricky D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome.
We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.